Hey guys, um, it's late. I know it is, and I'm not ready to really release this the way I want to release it, but I feel like there's something on it that I need to really release today. Um, so I wanted to talk about the woman at the well. If you're catching the replay, thanks for watching. I hope it blesses you. I want to talk about John 4, about the woman at the well. The thing about the woman at the well is that she was a Samaritan. And the Jewish people didn't really have anything to do with Samaritans, period. To them, they were lower class. They were idol worshippers. They had allowed idol worship and intermarrying in, and so they didn't really have anything to do with them. And in the Jewish culture, they didn't really speak to the women that were outside their family either, because there was that was not proper to do. So they didn't do that either. So when Jesus was tired, when they got to Samaritan town, and they wanted to rest, he rested, and they went in and got food into the town. It was a setup. So it wasn't for him, it was for the lady and for the town of Samaria. So I'm going to just start reading here. So a woman of Samaria came to draw water, and Jesus said to her, "Give me a drink." For his disciples had gone away to the city to buy food. So the woman asked him, said, "How is it you, being a Jew, ask a drink from me, a Samaritan woman? For Jews have no dealings with Samaritans." And Jesus answered her, "If you knew the gift of God, and who it is who says to you, 'Give me a drink,' you would have asked him, and I would have given you living water." At this point, she doesn't really understand who he is, but she also is a little surprised and curious about why this Jewish man is speaking to her. So the woman said to him, "Sir, you have nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. Where then do you get the living water? Are you greater than our father Jacob, who gave us this well and drank from it himself, as well as his sons and livestock?" And Jesus answered her, "Whoever drinks of this water will thirst again. But whoever drinks of the water that I shall give him will never thirst. But the water that I shall give him will become in him a fountain of water springing up into everlasting life." And this got her attention. So when she heard him talk about, "If you'll never thirst again if you drink this water that I have," and I can just feel her spirit coming alive and saying, "Give me this water. Give me this water so that I don't have to come back to this well, so that I don't have to come back and face the pain and the shame and being ostracized that I've had." This well had become a reminder to her of how all of her life, at this point, she's had 5 husbands and is with another. She's been rejected. She's been ostracized by the women. She's coming in the heat of the day instead of in the morning after everyone's come and gone, so she doesn't have to face them. And he's offering to give her water that she's not going to thirst again. And in her mind, she's thinking, "Yes, save me from coming to this well. Save me from looking at my pain and my shame, from this reminder of how awful my life is right now." And Jesus, like a great surgeon, now he's got his knife into that cancer of shame and pain and anger and hurt. And he says to her, "Well, call your husband." And I can feel that she probably just pulled back a little bit. "I have no husband." And maybe she felt unqualified because she didn't have a husband, so maybe that means she can't have this water, so that she's always, for the rest of her life, going to have to look at this well, this reminder of her shame, this reminder of the things that have happened to her and how her life is not the way it should be. And he says, "That's right. You've told the truth. You don't have a husband. You've had 5. And the one you're with now is not even your husband. He doesn't even think enough of you to marry you." And at this point, I can feel her kind of go, "Wow." And it's like Jesus just took that big pile of cancer, of shame and pain and rejection, and just laid it on the surgical table right in front of her and just flicked it off. So now all this is gone. And I imagine her kneeling down by him as he sat beside the well and saying, "Sir, I perceive you're a prophet. And here is the real crux of it. It's not that the pain and the shame was healed and restored, and that's a beautiful picture of the redemption of Jesus. It's a beautiful picture of what he can do in a messed up life to bring us into wholeness and bring us into right relationship. But this is the crux of it. She said, "Sir, I perceive you're a prophet." And a prophet carries the heart of God. And so they know the heart of God. And her question was not about the pain and the shame. Her question was, our fathers worshiped on this mountain, and you Jews say that in Jerusalem is the place we ought to worship. Her question wasn't, why am I going through all this pain? Her question was about getting closer to God. Which is true? Is it true, our tradition, or is it true for what your tradition is? Because I want the intimacy with God. I want to follow God. That was the problem. The shame and the pain and the rejection, that wasn't the problem. That was the block keeping her from getting the answer to her problem. That was the blockage keeping her from an intimate relationship with God. And he said, "Woman, believe me, the hour is coming when you will neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem worship the Father. You worship what you do not know. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. But the hour is coming, and now is, when true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and truth. For the Father is seeking such to worship him. God is spirit, and those who worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth." So she didn't even consider there was a third answer. And she didn't understand it. She was like, okay, well, I don't understand what you mean by in spirit and in truth. I mean, we get it now, but she didn't get it. And the woman said to him, "I know that Messiah is coming, who is called Christ. When he comes, he'll tell us, because I don't really get it. So he'll tell us when he comes." And Jesus looked at her and said, "I who speak to you am he. I am the Christ." I am the Christ. Can you imagine sitting there? You're wanting the right answer. You're wanting the answer from God. You're wanting the answer about which way is right. Is it right that I follow this path, or is it right that I follow this path? And you're coming face to face with Jesus. And that's what we do when we worship in spirit and truth, and when we pray and when we connect with Jesus. That's what we do. We worship in spirit and in truth. And she didn't even realize that was the model that was there. So I hope it blesses you. You know, we all have things happen to us that bring us pain and shame and frustration and anger. And when we do, we have the choice. We can give it to God and find out which way he wants us to deal with it, or we can carry it and let it bring us down. Jesus will always be like that surgeon who cuts it out and lays it on the surgical table and says, okay, that's out of you. You're free. You're healed. You're made whole. It's up to us to receive it. It's up to us to be who God called us to be and to walk in that light. And to get there, you got to worship in spirit and in truth. So I hope you got something out of this. Hey guys. Thanks, Lois. I love you. It's late. Get some rest. Enjoy church tomorrow. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.